everyone, Brady coming at you with another Tying Tuesday. Today we're tying up the cotton candy scud or Sowbug. Goes both ways. It's a great little imitation to have on some technical tailwaters. Fishes really well in low light conditions when those scuds are making their move. It's awesome under an indicator. You do need a little bit of weight to help get it down, or if you want to fish it behind a heavier bug, that's a great way to go about it as well. But really a cool, just messy little fly and a good one to have around. Alright, so we got our hook and our vise. We put it in there a little bit differently than you might typically. If you had your regular style hook, you'd position it right there on the bend. Since it has such a dramatic curvature to it, being a clinkhammer style hook, I'm going to position it upright a little bit. So when I go to finish, I'll have a little bit of flat space so that my thread's not wanting to slide off the front end there at the end. So we'll secure our thread right on the shank, and then we can go right into our first material that we're going to add in. That's a little bit of UTC wire. I have this small amber today. Adds a nice contrast to this fly overall, a little bit of durability of course with the wire, and then that segmentation too. So we'll position that right on the side of the hook here, wrap it down, and then we can work it all the way back. We're going to go a ways down the bend and really utilize this hook for what it is, all that curvature. And then come right back up a couple of wraps just to keep it from sliding, and add in our next material, and that's some Krystal flash. This is the backing to the fly, so just a subtle bit of flash. I take one strand from the pack, and then I'm going to go ahead and clip it off, fold it over and clip it off so that I have two to tie in on top. And that goes right on the top of the fly. I usually tie it on my side, and then it'll roll over as I secure it in place and be nice and snug on top. And we'll just cover that all up. And then we can work our thread back once more to the rear end, where we're going to make a quick dubbing loop with our shepherd hook tool. This is the Rising Gallop dubbing loop tool. It's got a bodkin on the other side, which is really nice. And just a closed tub loop there. Then we can take our thread up and out of the way and leave that hanging out for us to bring that material forward. And what I'm going to use on this fly today is the Senyo's Fusion Dub. This is a great material for this because it's an awesome color. This is the Fishmas option. And I'm just going to pull some out of the pack and sort of cart it a little bit into a nice clump that I can fix into that dubbing loop. Fairly healthy amount. This is the build of the body, so we want to make sure we're going to coat that shank really nicely with it, and then we want it to be as picky as possible, which is an excellent attribute of this dubbing. Very strandy. So we'll open up our dubbing loop and slide that up and in. And then once we have it in place, we can manipulate it a little bit from here and even it out. Maybe pull some of those rogue strands out of the way. Trying to keep it even throughout. On that, sometimes you'll taper material when you're doing this if you want your bug to be tapered, but overall this scud or Sowbug pattern is going to be pretty consistent throughout. And then we'll spin it up real good. Sure all that material gets captured real nicely before we come back in with our comb and brush it out, freeing up some of those fibers so that we can utilize them once we have it wrapped up. We want to simulate all the legs that you would see on a scud or Sowbug with all of these strands of dubbing there. You can use the scud dubbing if you want to go a little more traditional on this pattern. That is how it's built. And there's a lot of really good colors there. I just enjoy this Fishmas color. It works great on the tailwaters here in Colorado. It's a nice light variation. So once we got that kind of brushed out and real picky, we'll take it on forward. And we're going to make sure that we lay down a nice wrap on the back end here. And then we can work forward from there. Once more, just coating everything as we go. Touching wraps. Making a nice juicy body. And then as I get up to the front, sort of brush it back and keep it out of the way there. Then we can go ahead and grab that off. Sneak up and under it, and then in front of it, and go around it a couple times to make sure that that's not going to come loose. And clip out our extra material. Again, brushing everything back. So we have a nice finishing head area. And then what I like to do at this point is sort of brush that dubbing out with our loon dubbing brush. It's real grippy, grabs all that material, frees up some of those fibers. And we'll do this a couple times as we continue to tie this fly, because we want it real messy. And then I'm going to manipulate those down and out of the way for now. And we can bring our flash up and over the top. Lay that in place and then capture it. And then to keep that from moving around, we will rib this fly out. Again, just add some durability and also a little bit of contrast and segmentation to this fly. So that first wrap right behind, and then open wraps on forward. Trying to keep that spacing even. And finishing it right where our thread head begins by capturing it out and then helicoptering it out of there. Now we're going to whip finish over all of that, and then we can come through and refine it a little bit from there. Nice big red thread head trigger point on it. And now we're going to come through carefully this time, so I'm going to use my bodkin now. I don't want to break the wire or the flash, but I want to get as much of these dubbing fibers freed up and broken loose as we can without damaging the fly. So just pick a good bit out on either side. And if you come from underneath, then you're less likely to grab that tinsel that's in there, that Krystal flash tinsel. Sometimes if you got a little bit stuck, you can come in with your scissors and clip it, and then keep going at it. Just a messy little bug that definitely can't be resisted. So once we got it real messy, then I'm going to kind of preen them sideways, massage those fibers outward, and then we'll trim it down just a little. So we'll refine it and just kind of trim them. Don't have to be perfectly square, we still want it to be messy, but somewhat consistently messy. Those ones from underneath out of there. And we got ourselves a nice little cotton candy scud, Sowbug attractor. You can do this in a lot of different color combinations. We have that rainbow style here today with the Fishmas. Orange is great, olives are great. Cool little fly to fish and experiment with, and one that works very well. Thanks for tuning in to today's tying tutorial. We appreciate you watching the video. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, and if you want to get notified when we launch new videos, hit that bell up there in the corner. Have fun and enjoy tying.